Tommy Matthews. They say he is quite the hustler, and he will start his first ever game here in the last home game in Richmond, Kentucky.
Coach Dan McCall said it was important that he hears his name called for all he's given to this program. Wonderful move by Coach here on senior night.
Underway here, Belmont in the white, trimmed in blue, and it is a maroon out, so the Colonels of Eastern Kentucky in the solid maroon uniforms.
Eastern Kentucky will mix defenses, play some zone. They played a lot of zone in Nashville. They come out here man-to-man to start the game.
Egekeze, last time we saw him, he was nailing three-point baskets against UT Martin, off the mark in the opening shot. A little long on that shot, and here come the Bruins. A nice unselfish pass by Bradshaw, and Barnett nails the three.
And that's the right pass. The extra pass in the corner, passing up a good shot for a great shot. Belmont very good in transition, Doc.
Pass outside to McGlone, one of the top three-point shooters in the conference. Going to have a personal foul inside and a little bit of a push against Mayo. That's against Egekeze.
And you see Belmont here in transition, making the right pass in the corner to the local boy, the lefty, from the corner.
Barnett, who grew up in Lexington, Kentucky, actually committed and played here at Virginia prior to transferring to Belmont. Here's Matthews on the drive, gets the ball tipped away. Eastern Kentucky, a motion pick and roll kind of offense. Looking to get the ball inside. That shot off the mark, short, and it will get called a foul inside on Jamil Powell. There's a look at one of the all-time legends in coaching, Rick Byrd. His 35th year as a head coach, 30 years at Belmont. Ranked 6th among active Division I coaches in career wins. Folks, 729 victories for Rick Byrd.
No big deal. Over 700 wins. Not bad.
When these two teams met 12 days ago, Belmont did not shoot well from beyond the arc. They were 14 of 42. And they had trouble scoring in the paint, which is exactly where Eastern Kentucky hurt them. Shot clock at an even dozen. Colonels trying to pick up their first points of the night, senior night here in Richmond, Kentucky. McGlone on the drive against Bradshaw, a little too hard.
It's really good Belmont's defense here early, which leads them to quick runouts.
For Eastern Kentucky, they are led by a first-year head coach, Dan McHale. He's a graduate of Kentucky and a disciple of Rick Pitino. Began his coaching career in 2001 as an assistant for Pitino. And boy, what a bright future he should have.
One of the real rising stars in the coaching world. So much fun to be around him today. His energy, just terrific. And what he's done here with the facilities already at Eastern Kentucky. Tremendous young coach.
Pitino recommended him for the job. He was an assistant with Richard Pitino up at Minnesota. And now we told you Belmont struggled shooting beyond the arc, and they have not struggled tonight. They struggled the last time these two teams played, and that was Bradshaw for three.
Craig Bradshaw not going to miss 2 in a row from that spot. Way too easy for him. Got to contest Belmont's threes all the time. Run them off the three-point line.
Matthews, again, he's the senior that started tonight in place of Hawkins. Barnett, oh, nice soft touch. 5 of the 8 points thus far for Belmont have come from the local kid, Taylor Barnett.
And it's come from their defense. Their defense has led to quick offense. And for Eastern Kentucky, got to really sit down and guard and make this Belmont team continue to guard.
Rochelle from outside, he's off the mark. They had Barnett open, and Bradshaw was trying to get it there. Here on the break, Mayo. And they're going to call the foul on Bradshaw on a push.
Crowd just waiting for a basket here. You see the transition. Belmont is so good. They throw the ball ahead. It's so difficult to guard throwing the ball ahead in transition offense. Belmont so fast up and down the court to offense.
Eastern Kentucky is still looking for some offense. Mayo, the big fella, what an impressive freshman he is, working inside a double team, and he still gets a short jumper off. And talk about bright futures. That young man is going to be a basketball player, maybe at the next level when he's done here.
The country's going to get their first national look here at Nick Mayo, one of the better freshmen all around the country. 9-time Rookie of the Week in the OVC. People can't talk enough about his development. And Eastern Kentucky goes to some zone here.
Eastern Kentucky played a lot of zone against Belmont in their first meeting when they beat them by 10. Follow inside, and the foul. That was Dylan Windler, the freshman who went up on the follow, last team in the conference tournament in early March.
So many good players in this league, so many good coaches, terrific venues we've been to throughout the season, and a special one here tonight. The student section is loud, and everybody's kind of waiting for this Eastern Kentucky team to go on a run here.
Free throws being shot by Dylan Windler, the true freshman out of Perry Meridian High School in Indianapolis. Boy, this young man, so mature for a true freshman, grasping the system, and misses the shot, misses both of them. Windler is 72% free throw shooter. Very rare that the maybe a little jitters here early on.
On the road, but I think you're seeing two of the better freshmen in the league and two of the better freshmen, I think, in the country, in Windler and Mayo tonight.
Hawkins in the ballgame now. He was the hero of the big win at Belmont. He drove and dished it back outside, and the ball's tipped away.
Windler, great length.
Austin Luke outside. Battle for the rebound. They're going to get Powell for an over-the-back shove from behind.
One of the advantages Belmont has in this game tonight and really throughout the Ohio Valley is their depth. They can really play 10 people. Their unit that comes off the bench can score. They've got youth. They've got every piece here. Rick Byrd just continues to produce great teams at Belmont.
By the way, that was the second personal foul on Jamil Powell, and you saw him head to the bench. They can go afford. They need him on the floor. But 2 quick personals, and he will take a seat. Pass it. Oh, nice, great touch and great catch inside. Mac Mercer, the sophomore from Indiana, who missed the first 6 games of the year after having ankle surgery.
Yeah, right on cue. Depth and experience off the bench and size. Mac Mercer really gives them some toughness in that front line for Belmont.
Paul Jackson, who began the season as the point guard, trying to stimulate this offense a little bit. Hawkins put the ball up, can't get it to fall. And 1 bucket only thus far for the Colonels of Eastern Kentucky. Windler gets the pass, drives off the glass, and you talk about sensational freshman. This young man's playing beyond his years.
Long, lanky, can score. We've seen him a few times throughout the season, and it's really been Belmont's defense here that's been the key early in this game.
Pass to Luke. He doesn't get the bounce. Outside to Windler, off the mark. Hawkins thought about it. And now Jackson will set it up. Jackson's got a lot of speed, maybe the fastest man in the conference, maybe one of the faster guards in the country. He likes to drive and get it into Mayo, the spin move, and he is fouled by Windler and makes the shot.
The young man from Maine. That's right, I said Maine, folks. A future star in college basketball. Nick Mayo, one of the better freshmen in all of college basketball. Strong and powerful. Takes his time there in the post, spin move, gets himself to the foul line.
And folks, this young man throws a 92-mile-per-hour fastball. Talking about Mayo at 6'9", was a baseball pitcher. Really didn't get serious about basketball until his junior year in high school. That's why people didn't know a lot about him.
8th in the conference in scoring, and he's 4th in field goal percentage. For a young player, that's such a tremendous stat. Really a bright future here in Richmond for Eastern Kentucky, and Nick Mayo is going to be a big part of that as Eastern Kentucky goes back to the zone again.
And Bradshaw makes him pay with an outside shot.
That's Bradshaw's spot in the corner, uncontested. Again, that zone's got to rotate a little quicker. And Eastern Kentucky, a team that shoots the ball so well, #1 in the conference, really struggling. Let's credit Belmont's defense.
Bradshaw 6 points thus far. He had 20 the last time these two teams played in a losing effort. Pass inside. Mayo couldn't get there. He was setting a screen outside. Mercer turns around, and they're going to call a jump ball. And the possession area will go to Eastern Kentucky.
One of the things Dan McHale's talking about here is running their offense, using the ball screen. They have not used the ball screen well, picking their dribble up too soon. And in their first match in Nashville, Eastern Kentucky was able to drive the ball almost at will. You can see Belmont just trying to contain everything.
Hawkins a little long off the mark. Hawkins was here about 2.5 hours ago shooting by himself in the gym and didn't miss. Struggled to hit here early in the game. Another freshman in the ballgame from outside. Young man from Florida off the mark. That's Kevin McClain. Jackson looking for Hawkins again in the corner. Rochelle. Eastern Kentucky very cold here to start this basketball game. And Paul Jackson will be called for the block.
Eastern Kentucky really hasn't been able to get a lot of good shots. A lot of contested jump shots, a lot of quick shots, a little bit of jitters here early on. So it's going to come down to getting some defensive stops, maybe getting out, getting a quick run out in transition, kind of let the air out of this bubble a little bit and get the crowd involved.
Eastern Kentucky only 2 of 13 shooting from the field after they shot so well the last week or so. They dominated the paint, but they have not tried to even go inside much early on in this game. Here's Barnett from outside. He's the sharpshooter from Virginia. Well, nice transition defense, something that Belmont has struggled with for a good part of this year, getting back quickly.
And you mentioned it, Eastern Kentucky is a fast team. They've got very good athletes that can really get up and down the court.
To the Volunteers about 2 weeks ago down in Knoxville.
And that Kentucky team seems to be gaining a little steam, a little momentum heading into March. And Villanova, Jay Wright continue to win. And boy, that Duke Carolina was just another classic in one of the great rivalries in all sports.
Pass inside, the lob to Bradshaw. It has been all Belmont. And unlike 12 days ago when it was all Eastern Kentucky when they played in Nashville, that it's scooted out to a 20-day lead. This has been all Belmont early on here. And that's a lot of years of coaching. Set play, out of bounds, underneath, against the zone. And you see the athleticism of Craig Bradshaw. No offensive rebounding at all thus far, and Bradshaw nails another one. 11 points so far for Craig Bradshaw. Rochelle outside. Eastern Kentucky not able to drive at all inside. Set play against the zone, little motion movement, set up high ball screen, and then we see the great athleticism and terrific pass, Austin Luke. And then in transition, preseason player of the year, Craig Bradshaw, shot that one from his hometown of Ridgewood, Tennessee. Playing with a lot of confidence. He's having some fun out there tonight, Doc. Absolutely. We talked about the difficulty that Belmont had shooting when they played before. And also, Coach Bird talking about how Eastern Kentucky was able to drive the ball and penetrate. They have not been able to do that tonight. Great coaching and a great adjustment for the Bruins of Belmont. You could see their focus. Help defenses everywhere for Belmont. They're not allowing any penetration, not allowing any Eastern Kentucky players to get into the gaps, contesting all jump shots. Really been no interior attack for Eastern Kentucky. That goes off of Mayo. We'll go back to Belmont. If you just joined our coverage, this is a rematch of the biggest upset of the year thus far in the Ohio Valley Conference competition, in which Eastern Kentucky beat Belmont at home 12 days ago by 10 points, snapping a 29-game home Ohio Valley Conference win streak.
Really an impressive win in Nashville, and this Belmont team, you can tell and just see their confidence growing here on the road.
Couple of points from Nick Smith from outside. The junior.
And Dan worked for Richard Pitino out of Minnesota. Also on that tree, Steve Masiello, who's done a great job back in my neck of the woods at Manhattan College.
So how about those guys who have been disciples of Rick Pitino? All done pretty doggone well in coaching. Right now, it's been a struggle offensively for Eastern Kentucky. And they're going to call a foul inside. That'll be called on Nick Smith. His first.
And that's what you have to do if you're Eastern Kentucky right now. Try to create some extra possessions. Nick Mayo go into the offensive glass. And here's another opportunity. Baseline out of bounds underneath. Run your best play. Run something where you can get a shot around the basket. You work on these things all the time in practice. Really important for Eastern Kentucky to get something going to the hoop.
Mayo inside. He's fronted back at KZ, but puts a nice soft jumper on.
There it is. That's what you got to do. Get it to your best young player and get something going to the basket. Now it's going to be about stops. Talking on defense here. Not great communication and excellent offensive execution by Belmont against the zone.
The zone worked against Belmont when they played in Nashville. It hasn't worked tonight because Belmont has shot lights out. There is Austin Luke with the pass inside, and the foul. Brad's first points of the night, and he gets fouled while putting the shot up.
We were looking at the stat sheet during the timeout, and Brad's hadn't even taken a shot. Speaking of great field goal percentage, guys. And you see here the drive and the dish. Luke's so good at drawing two defenders, and then Brad's finishes around the rim because he always uses that rim to protect. Not a great leaper, not great size, but just knows how to use the basketball around the hoop.
You see his average there. The last 5 games, Brad has averaged only a little over 12 points a game. Teams are collapsing on Evan Brad's to try to take him away inside.
And we've seen it tonight, how well Belmont can shoot the ball when they're in rhythm. And Belmont off to a great start here on the road.
All 6 points for Eastern Kentucky thus far are from Mayo, the freshman. Oh, nice effort. Reverse the basketball. Javontae Hawkins.
I like that move. Get to the rim, attack. Don't settle for a jump shot. Put some pressure on that back line of Belmont's defense.
Eastern Kentucky needs to stop and needs some offense to get this home crowd in on senior night. But then you got people like Taylor Barnett just shooting the lights out.
Shooting the lights out back here at home, and a little behind-the-back pass. This Belmont team clicking on all cylinders tonight.
Biggest lead of the night, 20 points for Belmont. Little give and go, pick and roll outside. Hawkins thought about it. McClone's a good outside shooter. Hawkins will take the shot. Pass to Bradshaw across to Barnett. Back to Egekeze. Looking for Bradshaw on the perimeter, and he'll set it up again. Nice passing by Belmont. There's the man they want to go inside. The nation's leader in field goal percentage, 71 plus. Brad's great defense for the freshman, but he fades away and uses the glass.
Takes the young freshman to school there, up and under. One of the best in the country at that. Never takes a bad shot, or really outside the paint.
Trying to generate a crowd here on their final home game.
A lot of credit to Dan McHale and his staff taking over here for Jeff Neubauer, who's now at Fordham, and really building a great program here. Got so many people on campus excited, and some of these seniors that he didn't recruit have really transitioned well under his leadership.
Absolutely. Paul Jackson, by the way, pulling off the three-point play. He came off the bench and scored 15 when they beat Belmont back in Nashville. He's come off the bench here, former point guard, trying to ignite some offense. Mercer inside. Oh, nice pass to Nick Smith.
I like the change to man-to-man there. Got to stay on the watching the basketball all the time. Jackson turning his head there. Belmont moves too well without the ball.
Yep, Mercer playing Mayo inside. Eastern Kentucky dominated 36 to 22 points in the paint when they played. That ball tipped. Barnett with nice defense, partially blocks the shot. How about Bradshaw with the dribble and dish? Ball tipped away out of bounds. It'll go back to Belmont. Belmont had a 3.5-hour bus ride. They opted to stay in Nashville, let the kids go to all their classes, do a quick shoot around, and get in the bus and drive here. Arrived about an hour and 15 minutes before the game. And head coach Rick Byrd said, I want our kids to go to class. I want them to feel comfortable. We'll get on the bus. We'll come here. They'll be back at 3 a.m. this morning after this game tonight.
This is a challenging time of year between classes and travel and then quick turnarounds. They got to come back and play Saturday.
Powell has the 2 personal fouls back in the ball game, and he will draw the foul.
I love the throw ahead here. Get a defensive stop and then get ahead in transition, because that facing standard, Belmont defense has been so good here throughout the game. Eastern Kentucky hasn't been able to get anything going. Really glaring stat to me, 1 assist, 2 turnovers for Eastern Kentucky, 9 assists for Belmont.
Substitution as Jackson takes a seat. We mentioned he was a starting point guard and had not started the last 5 games. They needed some length defensively on the floor. They bring McClone back in, Isaac McClone. He was the only holdover starter from a year ago, the 21-win team that went to the semifinals of the CIT tournament.
Really important couple minutes here for Eastern Kentucky. Try to put some stops together. I like their attack here on defense, staying with the man-to-man.
Smith outside, way long. Rochelle with the rebound. And here come the Colonels. Pass is a little low inside the Mayo. He will give it off to Hawkins, who can't handle the pass, and the ball is out of bounds and might have been touched out of bounds by Evan Brad. And will go back to Eastern Kentucky.
See the quick play here. Belmont just kind of everywhere tonight around the basketball. Another opportunity, baseline out of bounds here for Eastern Kentucky.
Trying to get inside the Mayo. They have people between him and the basketball. And they're going to give a little push off on Powell. That'll be his 3rd personal.
And that's Powell's fault a little bit there. Got to really wait for that ball screen, let Mayo set his feet, then use the ball screen, because Belmont's switching everything. Then you get the mismatch you want, slow the game down a little bit, try to get Mayo around the basket.
Actually, they're calling it on Mayo inside instead of Powell, so correct, that's only 2 fouls on Powell. Rochelle back out to Hawkins. A nice follow inside by Powell.
Create extra offense by hustle plays, offensive rebounding, going to the glass, find an extra possession. That's what Eastern Kentucky needs to do to claw back into this game.
Lead was 22 a moment ago, and there's the possession change that they needed to be able to get the basketball back. That little shove by Evan Brads.
See the shot here in transition, that drive and dish, and then go to the glass, find yourself an extra possession, get the crowd and the student section back into it. Eastern Kentucky trying to fight their way back into it here at home.
Michelle leading scorer on the drive. Soft floater for the bucket. Now Eastern's starting to get into some rhythm offensively.
And there you see it, that dribble drive, containing the dribble, which Belmont did so well early. Eastern Kentucky trying to pick up the pace here a little bit.
Nick Smith from the dead corner.
I mentioned it earlier. The bench of Belmont is as good as any mid-major team in the country. They bring 5 guys off the bench that can all shoot and score.
Michelle pulls back and puts a jumper up. Can't get the roll. Bradshaw's not afraid to shoot from out there. Normally not off the mark at all. Belmont will set it up again. Final 4 minutes of the first half, which has been all Belmont Bruins. And they're going to call steps on Evan Brads.
Nice defense by Mayo that time, moving his feet. 4 minutes left here, and defending the 3 has been a real challenge. You can see Coach McHale, he talked about it in shoot-around today. He said, listen, defense is really what's going to be our key here today. We know we can score, but we got to play better defense. But they've got to string defensive stops together to lead to some quick run-outs so they can score in transition.
Well, dangerous cross-court pass. McClone tries to drive. No room inside. Powell, and they will call Windler for the push. the arc, 42% almost for 41% for Belmont from beyond the arc. And how about Eastern Kentucky? They lead the conference in field goal percentage, but right now they are 7 of 26 from the field, under 27% shooting.
Team defense by Belmont, obviously a real focus for them coming into this game. After last game, you know, talking to associate head coach Brian Ayers before the game, he said the dribble drive in Nashville killed them. So clearly they've made the adaptations and the adjustments, and they've worked on it, done a nice job here in the first half.
Powell will take a seat. They'll bring Paul Jackson back in, the speedy point guard, trying to get some stops here on Belmont in the final 3.5 minutes of the first half.
I like the move here, a little full court pressure, try to change the pace of the game a little bit, maybe take Belmont out of that comfort zone.
Reversing the basketball, looking for the perimeter shot. That one partially tipped. McGlone will have the open shot. He will pass it up, get it to Rochelle. Jarrell Rochelle, the graduate transfer from the University of Rhode Island. He has changed the culture here this entire year for the Colonels of Belmont, and now be hopefully, possibly changing the score a little bit here in this one. Going to call the offensive foul on Brads. That's his second.
Gotta love that. Make a shot and then get a stop on defense in transition. Jarrell Rochelle, one of the great names in college basketball. In front of the student section, getting the three, and then back on the other end, getting the charge. Little veteran leadership here. Important 3 minutes here for Eastern Kentucky. Couple good defensive stops, and now offensively. Use these ball screens. Try to make Belmont switch and help and attack the basket.
If you're Eastern Kentucky, you'd love to get to single digits at halftime. They were down by 22. Nice pass and slam by Nick Mayo, the big freshman.
Right on cue, use that ball screen, get the switch, and forget about it. This guy's going to be an absolute star. Nick Mayo, big-time athlete for Eastern Kentucky.
And Austin Luke caught in midair, had to get rid of the basketball and throws it away. And Rick. They were coming up at halftime. We got Brendan Fitzgerald, Paul Biancardi, little Joe Lunardi bracketology talk. Watching Belmont, who's a defending conference champion, try to hang on to what was a lengthy lead and now struggling to score. Ball tipped away. Nice defense inside by Paul Jackson. Here come the Colonels. McGlone pass. There's Rochelle again. He's feeling it. Oh, tipped by Hawkins. And now the senior night crowd's into it here in Richmond, Kentucky. What was a 22-point lead has now been cut to 10 in the final 2 minutes of the half. And Bradshaw, follow inside. The ball is tipped, and they may call McClone on the foul.
Extra pass, jump shot, and then hustle. That's what you got to do when you're down a little bit. Hustle plays, stay around the rim, find a way to get a basket, an extra possession for your team. I love the way Eastern Kentucky's gone to the offensive glass here the last few possessions.
Dan McHale, this is a team that's either played really, really well or struggled inside. They struggled offensively to begin with, but now they've come on offensively. They cut the margin to 10, back to 12 here in the final minute and a half. Eastern Kentucky struggled with offensive rebounding. Here's Jackson on the drive, and he gets fouled. Tyler Haddon gets his first foul of the night.
That ball screen action has been really good here for Eastern Kentucky. This time, not using the ball screen, driving to the basket, and the quickness and driving ability of Eastern Kentucky has loosened this game up a little bit. I like the way they've used, and in that case, not used the ball screen, got themselves back in this game.
Dan McHale said Paul Jackson's speed is a difference maker. They put him in to change the pace of the offense, which is exactly what he has done here in the final minutes of the first half. Bradshaw looking for the wide open Smith on the side. That ball is off. Mayo with the rebound. Inside a minute to play. Mayo, the head fake, loses the basketball. May have turned an ankle. Bradshaw follows his own shot and puts it back in his foul.
And that's why he's preseason player of the year. Defense kind of leads to offense and then gets caught in between here, but stays with it. Terrific athlete. We've already seen him with that alley-oop dunk earlier. Really terrific athlete around the basket.
Chance to cut the margin to 7 with Mayo turning the ball over. Bradshaw gets the ball, makes the shot, follows his own shot. And now he's back to 12 points with 50 seconds to go here in the first half. Pass inside. Oh, nice dish. And slam inside. Anthony Pratt Jr., sophomore. Margin is 10. About a 7-second differential on the shot clock and game clock. Oh, how about that nice drive inside? That's the freshman Kevin McClain out of Florida. Eastern Kentucky wanting to hold it for the final shot. Hawkins double team. McClone for 3. Nails the shot inside of 10 seconds to go. And what a comeback here in the first half by Eastern Kentucky. And Belmont will not get a shot off, and Dan McHale is low. Eastern Kentucky, and it could have been a lot worse, Mo, but it looks like Coach McHale pretty pleased with what his kids did in the final 8 minutes of the half.
You can tell he was happy with the way they responded there because they got down early and certainly made a nice comeback going into halftime.
Mayo picking up where he left off. He was the leading scorer in the first half for Eastern Kentucky. He had 8 points, now make it 10.
Love that set play. Talk about that, working that, coming out of the halftime huddle, and nice play run for Mayo.
Turnover for Belmont. Hawkins will get fouled. And that is on Bradshaw. That's his second. And when you talk to Rick Byrd going in at halftime, he was not a happy camper. You would have thought he was down by 22 as opposed to being up by 22 in the first half, but very concerned over losing the big lead.
Especially the way they played the last couple possessions. He was certainly not happy with that, but they shot the ball so well early, and it's really been Eastern Kentucky going back to some man-to-man defense, sitting down and guarding, stringing a couple good possessions together, now getting themselves to the foul line here, continuing to grow a little confidence and cutting into this lead.
Jamil Powell, his 5th point of the night. He had a career-high 25 points against Tennessee State last Saturday in a losing effort. Lost his starting spot and then got it back 5 games ago and has really shown a lot of moxie offensively.
These are the 2 highest-scoring teams in the Ohio Valley, both over 80 points a game. So I think we're for a high-scoring second half here, Doc.
And how about that is a freshman, folks. That is Nick Mayo, who fought off the country's leading field goal shooter in Evan Brads, gets the ball, bounces it off Brads, and now it's Eastern Kentucky basketball.
Talking to assistant coach Michael Bradley before the game and at shoot-around today, he can't say enough about this young, big player. Sees a lot of himself in his development.
Looking for Rochelle. Here's Hawkins on the drive, back outside to Powell, a little long, and Brad's inside with a rebound.
I think Belmont's got to give Brad's a few more touches around the basket. Instead of just settling for a lot of jump shots, put him in that pick and roll action, see if you can get him something going to the hoop.
Oh, nice delivered back, and they're going to call the foul from behind on Hawkins.
And there it was, the pick and roll action. Eastern Kentucky has struggled to guard that all night. Brad's got a little lucky there, missed a layup, gets himself to the foul line where, ironically, he's not a great foul shooter being such a good field goal percentage guy.
Over 71% leads the nation in field goal percentage. Talking about Evan Brads, he's only a 70% free throw shooter. The first time these two teams played, Brads had a total of 8 points. He just held scoreless in the first half and had a total of 8.
Sometimes he doesn't get enough touches. I think he's so good with the basketball and he's so unselfish. Making sure he touches the basketball, is involved in every play, I think for Belmont going to be real key here on the road in the second half.
Evan Brad's had back-to-back 30-plus point games, and then the last 5 games has averaged just over 12 points a game. Been sort of shut down. Long pass gets away from Mayo, and they're going to call the jump ball, and the possession area will keep the ball with Belmont.
Feeding the ball in the post is a little bit of a lost art. It's a difficult pass there, and Belmont's help defense always right there. Mayo got to get a little better position, look to maybe bounce that ball in where he can grab it with 2 hands, use those big mitts, secure the basketball.
It's almost as if you could see Belmont starting to play very tentatively, and yet Eastern Kentucky growing in confidence with every minute. Bradshaw passes up the outside shot, looking inside to Egekeze, who had to sit for much of the first half with a couple of personal fouls. Bradshaw with the pass to Egekeze, and he will draw the foul on McClone.
Excellent offense there, making the basketball reverse, go side, top, side, and then look for the dribble drive off of that. Very tough to defend. Eastern Kentucky got to contain the dribble and close out, keep your players in front of you.
Egekeze is yet to score tonight. We mentioned he set much of the first half with a couple of early personal fouls. The last time we had Rick Byrd's team with Egekeze against UT Martin, he lit the gym up with 20 points, a career high 6 of 8 from beyond the arc.
UT Martin, I think we were out there, Doc, and I don't think he missed a shot. He just shot it from everywhere and made it, and that does show the depth of this Belmont team. They can get scoring from a lot of different places.
Now gets a couple of points. Margin grows back to 9 points. Trying to penetrate, dish back out to the outside shot, and Powell nails it.
Nice pass by McClone, driving, getting into the teeth of the defense in the lane. That long pass, long closeout for Belmont. Nice pass, Isaac McClone.
6-point margin. We just joined our coverage. Eastern Kentucky has not led in the basketball game. They were down 3-0 and down by as many as 22 in the first half.
Brad's touching the basketball so good and uses that rim so well to his advantage. So effective. High field goal percentage guy, best in the country.
Mayo turn and use it off the glass. They talked about what a good shooter he is close up. That little bit too much on that. Brad's back out to Bradshaw, teammate. That's worked all year long. A little long for Bradshaw. Rochelle wants the basketball. In a hurry, gets it inside, drives and penetrates. They just can't get the shot to fall. Oh, what a nice athletic move by Bradshaw.
Big-time veteran move right there. Little jump stop, avoid the defense, use the rim, finish on the left-hand side. That's some MVP Player of the Year type stuff right there, Craig Bradshaw.
16 points already for Bradshaw. He had 20 when they played a couple of weeks ago. Now Rochelle starting to heat up from outside.
13 points a game, 7 rebounds, really effective front court guy, and the crowd just waiting to erupt here.
Nice one. I love seeing the use of the bounce pass. You don't see bounce passes used much anymore. I get Keze to Brads.
Love that bounce pass, don't you, Doc? And even more importantly, love that movement without the ball. Don't stand. Ball goes in the post, dive to the basket. Nice offense there by Belmont.
Powell dribbled, passes it back outside. Shot clock now at 10 seconds. Looking for the open Hawkins. A little long. Here comes Austin Luke on the break. Pass to Barnett, and it's blocked by Hawkins. Rochelle back the other way, and they will call the block inside on Egekeze. Mueller, the new athletic director here, who actually hired the basketball coach, Dan McHale, and Coach Elder. I mean, he's really trying to upgrade the facilities in the competition level.
See Dan McHale there? His former boss, Richard Pitino, with a big win tonight. Another upset in college basketball as another Big Ten heavyweight falls. Maryland on the road. Iowa lost at Penn State. Such is college basketball this season, Doc.
Oklahoma lost last night. Villanova, the only one in the top 5 to win last night. We just joined our coverage. What is a 7-point margin for Belmont was as many as 22 in the first half. It was a 9-point lead by Belmont at halftime. An old silly foul outside. by McClone.
Surprising move there. Eastern Kentucky goes back to the zone, which Belmont really took apart in the first half, but Dan McHale trying to keep Belmont off pace here a little bit. Silly foul, as you mentioned there. Got to really move your feet, play without fouling, and Eastern Kentucky goes to the bench.
Third personal foul from McClone. He'll take a seat, and they'll put Paul Jackson back in, the speedy point guard. Belmont was almost unable to miss in the first half, and now they struggle with their perimeter shooting, and they're going to call a shove in the back on Mac Mercer. His second personal.
And here's what you want when you're playing zone. A contested long three. What that does is force a long rebound, got a box out, which Eastern Kentucky does. So the zone works. They get the stop that they need.
It is senior night here in Richmond, Kentucky. Great crowd. 3 seniors playing their final home game, including the guy dribbling the basketball, Jarrell Rochelle, and he will get it back. This is a rematch of the big upset that these guys pulled off in Nashville 12 days ago when Eastern Kentucky beat Belmont by 10 points.
This Ohio Valley has so many good teams. We mentioned it throughout the broadcast, and tough venues to go play. And for Eastern Kentucky to go to Belmont, face really the heavyweight in the league, and then take apart that long win streak as well, really credit to Dan McHale and his crew.
Belmont had won 35 conference games at home, 29 in the OVC. In fact, they hadn't lost at home in the 4 years they've been in this conference until Eastern Kentucky beat them on February 6th. Jackson, the dish back outside the Powell. Hawkins will drive, follows his own shot, puts it up, and gets fouled. Probably going to call that one on Mercer.
Now you see Eastern Kentucky continuing to dribble drive, and that's what won them the game in Nashville. Their ability to get to the basket really bothers this Belmont team. First 10 minutes of this game, Belmont did not allow a dribble drive, and that's why they got out to this great lead. And Belmont now struggling to contain the speed and quickness of Eastern Kentucky.
Mercer takes a seat. Evan Brads will come back in. That was the third personal foul on Mercer. Brads, the junior out of Jamestown, Ohio, third leading scorer in the Ohio Valley Conference, has struggled a little bit trying to get untracked offensively. And now the margin is 5 points. Closest it's been since the early part of the ball game. Looking inside the Brads, ball tipped away by Jackson. Here he is on the drive. Dishes it back outside the Powell, a little long. Rochelle on the rebound, up off the glass, and just like that, the Colonels of Eastern Kentucky have cut it to 3.
And that's a veteran move there. Offensive rebound, gather yourself, don't pass it, take it to the rim.
Belmont needing a bucket in the worst way. They go inside to Brads, and he is being guarded by Powell. He will spin around off the glass a little high. Hawkins. And listen. And Dan McHale is loving the fact that his Colonels are battling back here after being down by 22 in the first half. Almost taken away by Rochelle. Ball got the nice roll, did Nick Smith.
Mistake there on defense by Eastern Kentucky. No need to gamble in that zone. Take yourself out of position. That leads to a 3 for Belmont. Uncontested mistake by Eastern Kentucky.
Pass inside to Hawkins. How about that nice pass by Paul Jackson?
Terrific pass, and even better movement by Hawkins without the ball. Don't stand and watch. On the drive, keep moving. Nice pass and finish.
Looking for Bradshaw, their preseason conference player of the year, and he will draw the personal foul on the drive.
You see the drive here. Don't stand and watch. Keep moving without the basketball. Good things will happen. Finish around the rim.
That is the third personal foul on Jamil Powell. But what a difference a half makes in a basketball game here. Craig Bradshaw, by the way, a 72% free throw shooters. Now wholesale substitutions as Powell and Hawkins go to the bench. Anthony Pratt will come in. And Bradshaw makes them both.
Terrific atmosphere here. Student section coming alive. Went for an excellent 12 minutes here, Doc.
Love Ohio Valley Conference basketball. Rochelle, he has come alive in the second half of the scoring. Trying to look inside, and I'm not so sure where Paul Jackson was throwing that one. That was a deep out pattern.
It was, and nobody was open. And even better, Belmont's defense there, containing the dribble, contesting, really forcing Eastern Kentucky into a tough decision and a long pass.
Rick Byrd up off the bench, very animated, normally a very sedate head coach, making sure they get the shot they want. Barnett off the mark, Brads with the rebound, and they'll set it up again. Barnett inside the Brads, nice drive and dish.
Barnett, Brads, and Bradshaw, I'll tell you what, they share the ball so well. Again, drive and dish. Nice play there by the senior.
You love the discipline in this offense that Rick Byrd has put in for Belmont. You understand now why they've won 14 conference championships. Pratt has the shot, gets his own rebound, does a nice job of getting the ball back outside. They will reset the shot clock, and now Eastern Kentucky will set it up again.
To just produce great young men on the court, off the court, and certainly in the classroom.
And he stayed to let all his players go to class today and then drove here because he said academics comes first, basketball next, but they've still won 14 conference championships, including the OVC a year ago.
Coach Bird's got the combination in the recipe. And
Austin Luke a little bit too much mustard on that pass.
As I was going to say, before he threw it out of bounds, the recipe against that zone has worked really well until then, and Eastern Kentucky continues to switch defenses.
It was a one-point lead, has grown back to 6. Rochelle trying to get the short jumper off. He can't get it, rattles in and out, and the ball will go back to Eastern Kentucky. Oh, they're going to say Belmont. I think when that one might have been touched by Brads on the way out of bounds. Belmont gets the basketball with a 6-point lead here just inside of 11 minutes to go in the first half. Along with the coach, Mo Casera, I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us here in Richmond, Kentucky. Belmont trying to hold on to a share of first place in the Ohio Valley Conference East and trying to hang on to a lead here right now as they got a shove inside under the basket, and Belmont will get the ball back out of bounds.
Belmont continues to shoot the three. That's their 26th attempt from the three-point line. They're going to continue to shoot it against this zone that Eastern Kentucky plays. And now baseline out of bounds underneath. Eastern Kentucky needs to string a couple stops in a row here together as they go back to man-to-man.
Wholesale substitutions by Eastern Kentucky. As you saw Mayo and Michelle going to the bench. Luke, not normally a threat to score, dishes it back outside. Shot clock inside of 13 seconds. Barnett to Brads. He will drive and get fouled as he goes up for the shot.
Little subtle move there, and that's what makes Evan Brads so good. A little subtle move, which is a ball fake and a rip through. Young players out there, watch that. Instead of settling for a bad jump shot, little ball fake, hip and shoulder move, rip it through, go to your strong hand to the right, get yourself to the foul line.
Personal foul on Jackson, that is his third. One of the district all-academic players, Evan Brads, trying to add to his total tonight. 13 points, just about 4 points under his average. Make it 14 points. Bradshaw coming back in the basketball game. Bradshaw was the leading scorer in the first half. And now Rick Byrd moving some people around to get some fresh legs in the basketball game.
Belmont's depth and bench going to be really key here for them on the road if they want to hang on and win.
Jackson looking to drive. Hawkins, they motion outside. Jackson thinks about the shot. Dishes it back outside to Powell, who was off the mark. Great effort by Hawkins on the rebound, and it will be a tie-up. Jump ball in the possession area will keep it with Eastern Kentucky.
And that's league play in the end of February, heading into March. Every possession counts. Both teams really battling, diving on the floor. And Eastern Kentucky here with 10 minutes to go. Let the lead grow here a little bit for Belmont. Going to be important offensive possessions here. Baseline out of bounds, but very good for them.
Eastern Kentucky offensively able to drive at the beginning of the second half. They shut that down here, trying to work the out-of-bounds play. Got a fresh shot clock. Colonels desperately need a basket here. Outside Hawkins, a little long. Look it inside to Mercer. And what looked like a nice block, it was a good block, and Mercer goes down hard and grabs that left ankle. He had ankle surgery, remember, at the beginning of the year, and he hit very hard on the wood. Belmont trainer out Paul Malloy to take a look at the left ankle on Mac Mercer. Mentioned Mercer missed the first 6 games of the year with an ankle problem. Goes up and comes down on the side of the foot of the shoe of Jamil Powell and turned that ankle.
Excellent block there, but really a hard rollover on the ankle there for sure. I think we'll probably not see him again. Maybe they got to give him a pair of high tops over there, Doc. Nobody wears high tops anymore.
Everybody trying to style. Pass inside. Windler, turn, gets the ball blocked again. 2 consecutive outstanding blocks by Anthony Pratt. Eastern Kentucky getting it done on the defensive end of the floor.
They sure have, and so is Belmont. They've really contained the dribble drive here, forced Eastern Kentucky into just a lot of contested jump shots over the last couple minutes.
Back out. Shot clock at 6. The drive and the swat away by Luke.
You see the block here, defending the rim. Eastern Kentucky in front of their happy student section, and Mr. Luke saying, get out of here. And I think we have a technical foul, Doc, a little taunting after the play.
Austin Luke, who had the block, he is the point guard. Normally very sedate, redshirt sophomore, doesn't make a lot of noise, great leader on the floor, and apparently got a little pumped about the block.
On the road, that can happen sometimes. As you mentioned, he really is the engine that makes them go steady, always kind of has his team under control. And got a block there, is a little excited about it.
Yeah, Hawkins, a 76% free throw shooter.
See the drive here and a little extra effort. No extra language. They call a technical foul. Point guards don't get to get blocked shots too much. That's what he was so excited about. So
I don't know that he said much. I didn't see a whole lot of emotion there. That maybe, but here again, I didn't hear what he said. But I love to see emotion in players, and I just don't like it when we take it away from them.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm a little curious about that one, but maybe there's a little more to it that we didn't see. And Coach Bird takes him out of the game for a second, let him cool down, and that bench of Belmont continues to provide dividends here for the Bruins.
Rochelle outside and can't get it to fall. Here's Bradshaw with the rebound, and here come the Bruins. McLean, the other freshman. McLean and Windler both in the ball game, the 2 outstanding freshmen for Belmont. There's Windler getting the cross-court pass. He gets it swatted away, almost turns it over. Back out to Bradshaw. Shot clock at 2 seconds, partially tipped, and they're going to call McClone for the foul. And Dan McHale does not believe it.
Never want to foul a three-point shooter. You see the shot fake here. Can't see it from that angle that well, but Mr. Bradshaw, the crafty senior and veteran, gets himself to the foul line.
That was Hawkins, by the way. I said McClone. It was actually Javontae Hawkins that came over and got a piece of the basketball in his hand. And they put Bradshaw back at the free throw line.
You see a little different angle right here. Always want to contest the shot, get a little bit of the hand there. That's a foul. And foul a three-point shooter, especially this guy.
Yeah, officials have done a nice job tonight. Brett Smith, our referee, Andrew Walton, and Charles Russell. These guys have done a really nice job in the Ohio Valley Conference. And there was a touch on the hand when the ball was released. Margin back to 8. Belmont trying to hold on to a share of first place in the Ohio Valley East. They will face Tennessee Tech at home on Saturday. McClone with the drive. Rolls off the rim. McLean with the drive. And they will call the foul into the bucket. Basket is no good. This one on Nick Mayo. Eastern Kentucky has not led in this basketball game after dominating in the game they played at Nashville 12 days ago. It's been all Belmont. Belmont hit the opening shot, three-pointer from the corner with Barnett, led by as many as 22 in the first half. Eastern cut it to 1 at the 14-minute mark of the second half, and now Belmont is pulled back out.
Belmont's defense really improved over the last couple minutes, really contained the dribble and the speed of Eastern Kentucky. Forced them into a lot of shots, and I guarantee Rick Byrd talked about that a lot at halftime.
And the officials have given the Eastern Kentucky bench a warning, but guys being up and being on the edge of the floor, a little bit too much emotion over there, so they've had a seat.
And listen, it is a real challenge. This is an intense game. Coach McHale here, big national TV and big crowd, and first year here trying to get everybody involved. A lot of pressure that goes with that, and you've seen Eastern Kentucky be a little tight early in the game, but a lot of basketball here to play. 8 minutes, long way to go.
Mayo, the big guy from outside. That's not his shot, although he's a pretty good perimeter shooter. Belmont slowly pulling back out, the margin back to 10. McLean in, partially blocked by Mayo, gets the rebound. Eastern Kentucky needs to be a little more deliberate offensively. There's McClone from outside, off the mark. Followed by Hawkins, and he is fouled from behind by McLean.
Now let's see if Eastern Kentucky continues to switch some defenses here. Off of a free throw made basket, maybe go to a little full court pressure here, try to take Belmont out of their comfort zone a little bit.
Eastern tried to go to that zone they used so effectively in Nashville a week and a half ago when they won, but Belmont was shooting lights out, and they had to come out and go back into man-to-man.
Yeah, they decided to go back into the zone here. Coach McHale likes maybe the team that he has out there and the team they're facing, going back to some zone.
Almost a turnover there by McLean, the freshman. Shot clock at 8 seconds. Bradshaw outside will take the shot and nails the three.
Unfortunately for Eastern Kentucky, that's exactly what you wanted. Just passes around the perimeter in a contested jump shot. It just happened to be that Craig Bradshaw shot it, preseason player of the year, and having an outstanding game today here.
And using up the shot clock, going deep into the clock. Here's Mayo on the turnaround, gets a nice shot jumper. His parents, by the way, here from Maine to watch him tonight. They flew in today. Excited about watching their son in the final home game of the year.
Wasn't that fun to visit with them a little bit, all the way down here from New England, and so proud of their son. And let me tell you something, that was a big-time move. Ball fake, turnaround, jump shot. Got a lot of potential.
Bradshaw can't get it to fall. Here come the Colonels. Rochelle spin. Couldn't get the shot off. Back to Mayo, and he will take the outside shot. Whoa! 3 points for the freshman Nick Mayo, who now has 15 on the night. Michael Bradley, the big guy, sitting beside Dan McHale. A couple of first-round NBA draft picks.
Michael Bradley had a chance to visit with him before the game and speaks so highly of this young guy and loves this Eastern Kentucky campus and team. And Dan McHale really got some veteran guys with a lot of experience on his bench.
Reese Gaines, also an assistant, was another first-rounder. Bradshaw outside again. He's feeling it. Couldn't get it to fall. And Mayo now with the rebound. Ball up short. Partially tipped as Powell tried to get it off, and a little frustration foul after the miss.
And there's the mistake. A bad shot, but then compounded by a mistake of fouling after a bad shot, because not only do you foul, but it puts Belmont back on the foul line, the free throw line, gives them an opportunity to score here without taking much effort or energy.
And it forces Powell to the bench with his fourth personal foul here. They're going to sit him down and try to get him back for the final couple of minutes. Belmont hanging tough, and if you're wondering what's at stake here, Belmont and Tennessee Tech both tied atop the Ohio Valley Conference East. Those two teams play in Nashville on Belmont's home floor, the Curb Center, on Saturday afternoon.
Oh, we've been there. What an excellent environment that is. Great students, great support in Nashville.
Absolutely great place to play. Tennessee Tech actually beat Belmont early in the year, so Belmont needs to win that ball game to be able to have some control over the seeding. Shot off the mark. Eastern Kentucky bench thinking there should have been a personal foul on that play inside. Looking into Evan Brads. Belmont using up the clock. Michelle, oh, nice drive and soft floater.
Dribble drive for Eastern Kentucky in transition. Belmont got to keep working on containing, especially in transition. And now they're going to want to take a little time off the clock here, run some offense, and really make Eastern Kentucky defend a lot of different sets, ball screens, post plays.
Smith outside, a great perimeter shooter. Windler, the freshman. Shot clock at 4 seconds now. Barnett gets a shot off the mark. Rebound inside by Brads in the putback.
Crafty just finds a way, gets himself an extra possession, calls for a sub, because that one took all he had to get Nick Mayo off the offensive glass and finish.
Evan Brads, we told you, wasn't very effective offensively when these two teams met a couple of weeks ago. Really showing up tonight. 16 points already.
A little bit of fatigue setting in here for Eastern Kentucky. I've mentioned throughout the broadcast the depth and bench play of Belmont really an advantage for them, especially as we get into the dog days here, the real busy time of February and March.
Barnett, the Lexington native, out to Bradshaw. That one almost from Lexington. He shot that one. And here comes Eastern Kentucky. Rochelle, and they're going to call the block inside. He'll be watching video on the 3.5-hour bus ride back tonight. He'll be watching Tennessee Tech video, trying to get ready. They'll have a brief shoot-around tomorrow, and then the game's a 5 o'clock tip on Saturday.
This time of year, sometimes you don't practice that long. It's a little more film, a little more ice and stim, and try to get your bodies and everybody ready to go mentally. So a lot of games here in a short amount of time, and Rick Byrd certainly knows how to prepare his team as well as anybody.
Eastern Kentucky is a perfect 11 for 11 from the charity stripe here in the second half. Margin back to 5 points here. Final 3.5 minutes of a good one here on senior night in Richmond, Kentucky. Pass inside and money from Tyler Haddon.
Excellent set play. Run a player through on the weak side. No weak side help there. And Nick Mayo fronting the post to throw over the top. Nice offense.
Hawkins tries to drive, and they will call the personal foul. That's probably on Haddon. And Hawkins will shoot a couple. Actually, that's on Dylan Windler. That's his 4th personal. The freshman out of Indiana.
We've talked a lot about Nick Mayo, spectacular freshman here for Eastern Kentucky. Dylan Windler is going to be a special, special player in the Ohio Valley. Really talented young player, long arms, and getting some valuable minutes here on the road.
And you talk about some special players. Tonight they honored one at halftime. There's Jack Adams' jersey, the three-time All-Ohio Valley Conference player, 13 school records. His number 40 jersey retired as a senior. One of the all-time great colonels in basketball. Nice to see the Jack Adams jersey up here as they unveiled that at halftime here at the McBrayer Center. Final 3 minutes of this one. Ball tipped away, saved by Mayo. A chance to cut it to 3 or closer. Mayo on the drive, and he will be fouled by Bradshaw. Bradshaw doesn't foul him. He's jamming that one home.
And the crowd's probably half on the floor. The place kind of ready to erupt.
Third personal foul on Bradshaw, the senior leader for Belmont. This kid, Nick Mayo, there comes Egekeze back in as Haddon takes a seat. This kid, Nick Mayo, we told you, played a lot of baseball in high school. Didn't play much basketball. Played a little AAU as a junior. Came to a tournament in Louisville, Kentucky. And the former coach here, Jeff Neubauer, saw him off the radar and offered him a basketball scholarship. Dish inside to Egekeze, ball swatted away. And here come the Colonels. 3-point game. A shot to tie it up or cut it to 1. The closest they've been was 1 point at the 14-minute mark of the second half. Hawkins on the drive, a spin move, lays it up. Oh, he can't get the roll.
A lot of basketball still to play here. 2 minutes. And if you're Belmont, take your time, value the basketball, try to get yourself to the free throw line and run some clock.
Oh, how about Bradshaw? What a great senior leader move. Dribbled and the dish to Brads.
Or just put it in Bradshaw's hands and let him drive and drop it off to Brads. A deadly combination.
And Bradshaw takes it away. All the way, and whoa, he is fouled by Hawkins. Hero of the big upset victory for Eastern Kentucky in Nashville. So a flagrant 1 foul confirmed by a referee, Brett Smith. Bradshaw will hit the first of 2. And now Belmont will get the basketball out of bounds up by 6. 26 points tonight for Craig Bradshaw. His season high was 28. That was against Morehead State last Saturday in the 1-point loss.
Almost a must stop here for Eastern Kentucky. Got to play through the whole shot clock.
Bradshaw, and he just tied his season high. Nice little head fake.
Too good, moves without the ball, too fast. Just crafty and efficient tonight for Belmont.
Numbers for Bradshaw, 28 points. Desperate for points. Mayo back out. Shot from the side and a nice 3-point bucket by Rochelle. Eastern Kentucky hanging tough.
Hanging around, they needed a big shot there, and they got it. 22 on the shot clock here. Got to really sit down and guard if you're Eastern Kentucky.
Oh, Egekeze dips away, a little dish and go, and spins away for the bucket.
And it's really been fatigue here. You can see Eastern Kentucky trying to play man-to-man, but just a step slow on defense.
Oh, ball tipped away, almost stolen by Bradshaw. He's trying to plead his case that it was actually touched over there by McClone.
He's everywhere tonight. Defense, offense, extra effort. Into the bench.
Rick Byrd was wanting that one looked at for possession. The officials are asking Byrd to have a seat down. They're going to come over and have a little chat with the coach. And how about the night that Craig Bradshaw has had 28 points? What an effort from the first half to the second. His perimeter shooting has been just flawless.
And early on, he just got in such a comfort zone, shooting the basketball in transition. He's been so good and steady throughout the night, really been effective around the basket as well. Most flawless game here for him tonight, able to get to the free throw line as well.
28 points. His career high was actually 42 points a year ago against Ohio. He was National Player of the Week for that performance. Now, watching Rick Byrd coach here, you'd be remiss if you don't mention the fact that he is in the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. His dad also in the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. Great sports writer Ben Byrd, a 5-time sports writer of the year in Tennessee. How about that? Father and son both in the Hall of Fame in Tennessee.
One of these days they're going to hang one of those sweater vests up in the Tennessee Hall of Fame as well. I'll tell you what a tremendous job he's done elevating this program through the different levels and the transitions, and now really one of the better mid-major programs in the country.
Absolutely. Not only athletic excellence, but academic excellence, as evidenced by those two players on the Crusader District All-Academic team.
And big-time coaching move changes to some zone out of bounds after the timeout.
Rochelle will drive, and he throws it away. Ball was it tipped? Nope, they're saying it'll belong to Belmont.
And that's the little coaching moves that doesn't really show up in the box score, but that wins games for you. Dan McHale probably working on what they want to do man-to-man. Rick Byrd comes out zone. Eastern Kentucky struggles, turns it over.
Final minute of this one here. Belmont trying to hang on and continue as a co-leader in the Ohio Valley Conference East. 7-point differential. And now they call for the foul by McClone. Dan McHale asking for the personal foul. McClone gets it. That's his fourth, but that's a moot point here with 32 seconds to play in the game.
Yeah, and at that point, you probably want to play through the whole possession, see if you can get a steal or a miss before you foul. It was either foul right away or let the shot clock go. So a little bit of a late game mistake there. And Bradshaw finally missing a couple shots, a little fatigue in his legs.
Belmont will drive back tonight, arrive home back in Nashville at 3 a.m. They'll try to have just a quick shoot-around tomorrow afternoon to try to keep the legs as fresh as possible. Then at 5 o'clock on Saturday, they will face Tennessee Tech for the possibility of one of those teams winning the Ohio Valley Conference title. Mayo off the basket, and then another personal foul. They will send Bradshaw back to the line.
Eastern Kentucky's going to be a little disappointed that they got out to such a slow start today, but I'll tell you what, they've got some nice pieces here for Dan McHale. Young players, talented players, and great student section today as well.
Bradshaw, remember, coming up next, we're going to head out west to BYU at San Diego. Some West Coast Conference action. The Cougars led by Nick Emery, who had 37 points against San Francisco last Thursday. That one coming up in about 25 seconds or so. With Belmont trying to hold on here and move their conference record to 11-3 in the final seconds. Eastern Kentucky has nothing to hang their head about. A valiant effort after being down by 22 in the first half. Great effort, a great crowd here on senior night.
Been fun, Doc. I'll tell you what, throughout this conference and games we've done throughout the year here in the Ohio Valley, some talented young players, terrific coaches, and this is as good a venue as we've been in all season.
Love coming here to the McBrayer Arena, 6,500 seats, beautiful facility. They had the maroon out tonight in the campus of Eastern Kentucky. We're going to be back here many times in the years to come. Dan McHale doing a heck of a job as a first-year coach, building this program step by step. Got a great recruit coming in, Asante Gist, point guard coming in out of St. Anthony's.
Dan McHale gone back to his home state of New Jersey and able to bring a big-time player out of St. Anthony's down here, and really important as he kind of goes back to where he's from and such great facilities down here. Anybody from the Northeast going to come down here and love the passion for basketball and the fans. And, you know, we talk about Kentucky all the time, and they're right down the road, but this Eastern Kentucky team is going to have a lot of wins here in the next couple of years.
Absolutely bright future. By the way, those of you tuning in to see BYU in San Diego, that game is just tipped off on ESPN News. You can watch it there right now, or just hang with us for 18 more seconds, and we'll send you out to San Diego for that West Coast Conference action.
You know, if the weather's nice as it was here in Kentucky, out in San Diego today, Doc, pretty nice here in Richmond, Kentucky.
Pretty nice, beautiful day to be here in Richmond. The snow gone away, almost 60 degrees. Shot off the mark. And that'll do it here for Belmont as they hang on to the basketball for the final seconds. And Rick Byrd's Bruins of Belmont will move to 11-3 in Ohio Valley.